I was stagnant, not doing anything, not dating, not thinking about dating, just kind of, going through the motions, you know, it, having random thoughts about, possibly having a partner, somebody in my life, but not necessarily doing the work to get there. Definitely, look, not going out, not really talking to people, not just stagnant. Getting out of my own way, and I'm still working on that. Literally, just getting out of my comfort zone, getting out of my it's okay when it's not okay. That would be my thing. I'm okay, and not really okay. I'm learning that it's okay not to be okay, and I don't have to pretend like I'm okay when I know I'm not. You've done a little work, it's getting a little better, and you are able to step out of your space that makes you feel okay. I'm good. I don't have to worry about any of that. I'm good. And I can venture out a little more and get outside, because the one thing I've definitely realized is that this partner that I have in mind is definitely not coming to knock on my door and just bring me out. So I'm going to have to go outside. I'm going to have to go outside. If I'm not on the TV, I'm going to have to go outside. This was truly my first exposure to working on this. I'd maybe read something here and there, but nothing where I was actively doing the work, actively, trying to find out, actively trying to figure out what the roadblocks were to me moving forward, and actively trying to get past, bust through, or get over those roadblocks. I definitely was not doing any of that prior to this program. Originally, in the Make Room for Boaz challenge, it really just piqued my interest. I could actually have what I want. Seriously, I could. So that was the first part. It was okay, so if I think about it and I put in a little work, I could actually have what I believe I want. And if I'm saying to myself that I want a partner, that I don't, I want my person, so to speak, okay, I could actually have it. And so, yeah, I had to be open to doing the work. I had to be open to even allowing myself to believe that I could have it. So once I, had just a smidge of belief that yes, I could actually have it, that is there for me, that, not only the other girls can have it, but I could have it too. That's kind of what made me say, you know what? Do what you need to do and go from there. Not to say there haven't been moments in time where I'm like, yeah, no, this is not going to work. You're a hot mess and this is not going to work. But overall, I'm like, no, you can really have this. It's not just for everybody else. And so that's really kind of what made me decide to step into the program, invest my time, and just try to work through some stuff, and again get past or bust through the hurdles that I was coming up on. I got stumped when I came face to face with my daddy issues. I knew they were there, but I wasn't I hadn't gotten myself fully into the space of being ready to deal with them. And so, yeah, it stumped me for a little while. And then the other part that got me is in one of the modules during the 8-week, the standards and boundaries, and I'm going, you just been out here just doing whatever, just being crazy. Like, what have you been doing your entire life? Like, no wonder these men been crazy, because you've been crazy right along with them, just allowing all kinds of foolishness, taking all kinds of foolishness, dealing with all kinds of foolishness. And all you had to do was develop some standards and boundaries, and you could have shut all of this down. So yeah, that module definitely had me like, head scratch. Like, get your whole entire life. Get your whole entire life together right now. Those two things were probably the two things that, right, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. After I, gathered myself.
Yeah.
Had a few conversations with on high. I've been telling you don't want to listen. You don't like to listen. So you'll keep continuing to suffer the consequences because you don't like to listen. And I have to be like, God, I'm listening. I'm listening. I'm listening. I'm listening. Now, I spoke to one of the sisters, and she's like, she's to the part of trying to do these 3 dates in 30 days.
Yeah.
But she's terrified. Yeah. But she's also, her struggle is she doesn't have the one-on-one calls with you. I think because I have the one-on-one calls with you, in the next couple of months, I'm going to make my way through and, get to my 3 dates in 30 days. Yeah. They help me push through the stuff that I don't want to push through. And they give me a different perspective on some of the stuff that comes up. Like, you have your way of thinking about certain stuff. And sometimes you just need that, well, what about this? And so those one-on-one calls definitely give me the, well, what about this edge to it, and make me be like, you know what? Yeah, didn't think about that, and definitely, not necessarily should have, could have, would have, but it's definitely another perspective that is needed so that I don't, continue to stay stuck in one space. You know what I mean? If with that different perspective, it allows me to broaden my thoughts about about whatever the situation is. I really had zero expectations that I was walking around just out of my mind. like genuinely out of my mind. And what's the other one? It's not just the standards and boundaries. Rediscover your allure. Put you in a space of really thinking about who you are, what you value about you. And if you are constantly in a space of thinking about, oh, I wish I was this, I wish I had that, I wish I was the other, it doesn't really leave you space to think about all the positive stuff that, you might have going on. So rediscover your allure. That part made you really start thinking about the positive aspects of you. And it's not necessarily physical, but it opens you up to think about, oh, okay, the physical stuff that you usually attribute to, this is the stuff that draws in a man. All of that stuff is fine, but there's something more. There's something more. There's something more. Like, it's not just when you're really thinking about a true life partner or whatever, there is definitely something more than, a woman's got, long hair and big boobs that, makes a man want to stick around and want to be in your life and be a good fit for you in your life, as opposed to, I don't know. It's just, that part. Definitely being able to find the positive stuff in yourself that goes beyond just the physical. Yeah, rediscover your allure was definitely an eye-opener for me. Because, there was, again, it goes back to different perspectives, things that you don't usually think about when you, what's your line about models?
All about looks then,
Right. Every model would have a husband.
Yeah. And all wives will be literally models. Like that'll be it. But
right.
We know that's not true.
Right. So once I started to really think about that, like, you know what? She right. There's 1,000 beautiful, physically beautiful women running around and got husband the first. So what is it they're missing? What is it that what is it that they haven't tapped into? Mm-hmm. And there are a gazillion women who may not be model-esque, but they got their person. There's definitely something that they've got, and it wasn't this.
Oh,
it wasn't the outside.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
That was definitely an eye opener for me to really start thinking about, I can stop, not necessarily stop focusing on my physical, like always, maintain good health, but it doesn't have to be the focus when I'm thinking in terms of trying to find my mate. It really has to be more to it than that. Like, yes, you want to present an attractive package, yes. But there's got to be something inside the package to make it all worthwhile. Therapy and prayer are fabulous, but those alone will not get you where you need to be. I recognize that I needed therapy for some stuff. I'm constantly in prayer, but I'm still without a husband. So I knew there had to be something else that I needed to be doing, another direction that I needed to take in order to get the results that I want to get. So for me, it was join this program and see where it leads me. The bigger part of it is actively working the program. So I hit a few roadblocks along the way, and I'd stop, and I, put myself on pause. Like, okay, wait, you're not ready to address this. You got to hammer away at this particular thing a little bit more before you're ready to move on to the next thing. This much is true. But overall, I feel like the program really helped me get some answers to some questions that I had that I was not receiving those answers in prayer. I was not receiving those answers in therapy. There was just some stuff, that I needed to know that is outside of those two realms. And so that's definitely where the program has been the biggest assist. Any woman who finds herself in the space of experiencing one or all of the connection killers. If you're in a space of thinking that there's no viable, decent men out here, you need this. If you're in a space of thinking that you don't need a man, you need this. If you're in the space of thinking that of just not being able to trust men or even your own self, which was my biggest thing, is like I don't even trust myself. You need this. It will help you conquer all of those things. Slowly, surely, you will conquer all of those things, and you will be more able, more willing, more trusting to keep moving and to progress and to find your person. And the other thing is, it's not simply about finding your person. Like that can be a main goal, but it also helps in your relationships on other levels, parent relationships, children relationships, friend relationships. It literally helps with all of that. Be patient with yourself. Be patient with the process. Those women who feel like it should happen right now, I came to recognize I wasn't in that space. I wasn't in that because I feel the same way about weight loss. It didn't take me 1 minute to gain the weight. It's not going to take me 1 minute to get it off. And it's the same thing with this process. It didn't take you 1 minute to get this way and feel how you feel about the dating process. It didn't take 1 minute. So it's going to take some time to get back to the other side of, okay, I can do this, I can date, I can, whatever it is. And it's going to take some time for me to get into that space. The other thing is just being patient with the process. Like, honestly, just going through, whether you're in the 8-week, just going through each module and really digging in for yourself, primarily. Not even so much about the modules or trying to get to this date, but this thing is to really make you work on you. And working on us is so very uncomfortable. It's extremely uncomfortable to do the you work. We can work on other people all day long without a problem. But when it's time to do the you work, it's like, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
And so you have to give yourself license to be patient with yourself and the process. And eventually you'll see the progress that you long to see. Again, some people it may move faster for some than for others, but it also depends on what they've got going on. That's probably the biggest thing. It's like, if somebody is not coming in with, dad issues or leaving an abusive, having left an abusive relationship, they don't have all these trust issues. If they don't have all of those things, then they may be able to move through this process rather seamlessly and what seems like very quick. But if you're a person who's coming in with all of that stuff and some, it's going to take you some time. And you have to give yourself that time. But if you give yourself that time, you'll see the results you want. And that would be my message.